Alright, we got Goob Wizard and ranking JJK subreddits.
Jujutsu Kaisen is a show that if you're an anime fan, you most definitely know about. And with it being so popular,
It is carrying modern mainstream anime right now, bigger than Chainsaw Man, bigger than Hell's Paradise.
of course it has a community on Reddit. But not just one. The JJK fandom is unique
Yeah, Lobotomy
in
Kaisen.
the fact that it has many subs. And as someone who goes to these subs from time to time, I asked myself a question. How do these subs stack up against each other? Which ones are good and which ones are bad? Well, come along as I show you my completely unbiased, 100% factual rankings for these subreddits. Starting off first with... Now this subreddit, I would argue,
Honestly, yes, power scalers are toxic, but this shouldn't be too bad because honestly, power scaling is kind of a necessity.
it was one of the more sane JJK subreddits we'll go over today. But man, do I have mad beef
Like, I want to know who's stronger between Yuki and Yorozu, for example.
with the subreddit. In general, the subreddit has some of the least agenda posting and brain rot out of all of them. And to be honest, 90% of the posts here are just somebody going over their top 10 list for the strongest characters. So in general, there's not a lot of insanity. But that's not my problem with this subreddit. My problem with this sub is that throughout pretty much every single top 10 list, Takaba is nowhere to be found. Like, the dude is essentially a god. What are we doing?
I mean, yeah, Takaba has the best curse technique in the verse, but the issue is, like, he was defeated by Kenjaku, and even then, he's just not, like, necessarily strong, if that makes sense.
Here. In this subreddit, you will find takes so abysmal that you will want to curl up into a ball and cry. I didn't know the meaning of befuddlement until I saw this subreddit for the first time. Trash takes, but at the end of the day,
I wonder if Higuruma used his domain expansion on Takaba, if technically his jokes wouldn't necessarily count as harm, if that makes sense. So I feel like Takaba could still use the comedian even after Higuruma does his domain expansion, but I'm not sure.
this community is still kind of sane, so I'm gonna put this sub in C tier. Anyway, moving on to... Now this is where the real
D tier.
insanity starts. Agenda, lobotomy, coping, slander, all of that and more can be found in this, I don't even know what you call this, this very interesting sub, Lobotomy Kaisen. I love this sub. The pure raw slander and goofiness that this
Earth's subreddits are quite advanced.
sub exudes cannot be understated. Yuji slander, Yuta slander, Megumi slander, Gojo slander, Sukuna slander, Gege slander. There is slander for everybody in this sub.
Yeah, they had Akutami versus Fujimoto.
This subreddit is where research and
Low-key Fujimoto wins. He's a better writer. Now, I don't know why he ruined the ending of the Chainsaw Man manga, but overall, Fujimoto is he's just better at writing than Akutami.
reading the manga goes to die, shunned and forgotten about in the face of slander and agenda. 10 out of 10 sub, S+ tier. And with that, we move on to... This is basically
Okay, the official JJK sub, nice.
the original sub. Is it a bad sub? No. But it's not winning any awards for originality anytime soon. Plus, this sub is where I learned that Yuji looks like Togepi, so automatically down a letter. So for the sin of being boring as well as ruining my perception of Yuji forever, this is going in D tier.
What the dog doing?
This is the fun version of the OG sub, and you know it's going to be good when the de facto official sub has less followers than the unofficial one. I mean, look at the most recent post as of me writing this. There is no critical thinking to be had unless it's for slander. Now, I would be remiss to not talk about the sub's absolute disdain for Gege, and that kind of goes for a lot of the JJK subreddits, or just the JJK community as a whole, but this subreddit in particular is just hating to a crazy degree. But aside from that, in general, this subreddit's pretty funny, so I'm going to be putting this in S tier. So this is the sister sub for r/Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's also pretty goated, honestly. I
Alright, so what's this one about?
personally don't spend a lot of time on this sub. I prefer the funnier ones, but when I have been on here, it's been an overall positive experience. This sub mainly helped for when I was reading the Culling games in the manga because I could not
Oh, it's like more of an informational subreddit, I'm assuming.
wrap my noodle around how the Culling games worked at all. So yeah, not a lot to talk about here, but it's a pretty cool sub, kind of mid, so it's gonna go in C tier. And finally, r/JJK Modulo. This sub
Modulo, man. We didn't even get to see Yuji versus Dabura. Modulo felt a bit disappointing, in my opinion. Like, Yeah, it was kind of disappointing.
Subreddit, without a doubt, has been home to some of the worst takes I have ever had the displeasure of reading. Like, there is no media literacy to be had in this subreddit. Absolutely zero. It's a pretty interesting JJK sub in other ways, though, because it's the only JJK modulo sub, really, so everything's just kind of put in a crock pot. Whether that's for better or worse, who's really to say? I think that the
Mm.
sub is pretty cool, pretty chill. Again, it's the only modulo sub, so, I mean, it's not like I can really complain. There's nowhere else to really go to. So I'm going
Oh
to be
yeah,
putting this in B minus tier.
B minus, eh? Well, I mean, that's ranking JJK subreddits. The best one in my opinion, even though it's a meme one, I would probably either have to say like Lobotomy Kaisen or maybe Jujutsu Shi, assuming Jujutsu Shi is like an informational one and just kind of gives info on things that people don't know. But honestly, overall the best one is probably Lobotomy Kaisen. I mean, that's what made JJK even more popular with all the memes just becoming widespread just everywhere, bro. We got the Naoya hair flip. We got, hey man, Lobotomy Kaisen A tier. Actually, S tier. Just like Sung Jinwoo from Solo Leveling.